There's a quote that I say at the very end of my videos and live streams, and that is, never apologize for wanting attractive women in your media, especially in your video games. The reason I say that quote is due to what happened with Stellar Blade back in 2024, where the game was viciously lambasted and attacked and demonized by the mainstream media, by the mainstream gaming press, for Eve being a very attractive female character. Well, that quote now holds more water, especially after what we've been seeing for the past few years, and especially with the subject of today's video, which is Lords of the Fallen 2 CI Games CEO Marek Tyminski, because, according to The Gamer, if you don't apologize for wanting attractive women in your media, especially in video games, if you don't apologize for putting attractive women in your media, especially in video games, if you don't apologize for catering to the fans, you're problematic. You're part of the problem. You're the wrong people, apparently. This is coming from people who have zero integrity, zero journalistic integrity, and blatant hypocrisy at this point. But let's get right into it. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever you are. My name is Makity90, art storyman and illustrator, and I am back for another Peak Gaming commentary video. And before we get started, I just want to say a big thank you to everybody who came out for the first video on Code Violet. I saw all the comments and such like that. You guys are absolutely amazing. I cannot thank you guys enough for the incredible support. This is part of just a new direction I'm going through with the channel, as I want to make more commentary videos for throughout 2026 and really help get this channel build some momentum and, you know, grow once again from this stagnation. And once again, I can't thank you all for that. So if you guys want to see me cover more topics like this, especially in the world of gaming and game industry, especially in the medium that I personally love, that I hold dear to my heart, then you guys know what to do. Smack that like button, make it jiggle. Smack that subscribe button, make it jiggle. Massive thank you to all my channel members, of course. And thank you guys so much for watching. Share your thoughts in the comment section down below. And let's get right into it, shall we? Now, obviously, at the time of this video, this will likely be very late, but I thought it was worth giving my personal thoughts on the matter, especially considering how this kind of ties into the quote that I mentioned earlier. And also, you know, I probably got plenty to say on Jade King and the gamer as a whole as well. And I truly appreciate Marek Tyminski for, you know, not for sticking his ground and not, you know, bending the knee and such like that. you guys know that he is, he definitely would be part of the, you know, the GG crowd back in the day at this point. Anyway, but I think Marek Tyminski and CI Games probably doesn't need any introduction, because this has been dominating the news headlines across social media and such for the past few days. And, you know, Marek Tyminski himself has a very long, very storied history of putting players first when it comes to Lords of the Fallen, obviously, and of course the sequel that was announced at the Game Awards, Lords of the Fallen 2. A lot of this did stem from the feedback loop, such as, you know, him, you know, announcing that they were ditching body type A and body type B for traditional male and female selection in the original Lords of the Fallen, not forcing the agendas, listen to the majority, and basically, you know, putting the players first, basically putting the gamers first. And although it's amassed him some criticism, but it amassed him a lot of success, and it's probably setting him, his studio, and his games up for the long-term success, which I think is much more beneficial than short-term game, in my humble opinion. However, this is where Jade King steps in. This is where the gamer steps in. Now, the gamer needs no introduction. I have probably covered their hit pieces before. I have cited people like Stacey Henley before for sharing those same views and sharing the same ideology and mindset, especially when it considers to, you know, modding your games to make your female characters more attractive, or say Cammy's outfit in Street Fighter, Cammy's classic outfit in Street Fighter 6 shouldn't be included, or getting mad at Blizzard for their advertisement for Diablo 4 because it featured Megan Fox on the cover. This is the kind of people that we're dealing with. I'm just gonna say it right now. This is the kind of people that we're dealing with, and I think I'm probably not gonna pull any punches, especially in regards to this, hit piece right here. So this is technically where the gamer steps in, but before we do that, of course, I do need to bring up the thing that really set the whole thing off, which was obviously a fan on Twitter asked, is Lords of the Fallen 2 going to have, you know, attractive female characters? And Marek Tyminski simply replied with yes. And then basically clarified further that Lords of the Fallen 2 will not only have attractive female characters that you can play as, but also they're gonna have revealing outfits too. I think that's a win-win. But apparently, you know, a lot of people probably didn't see that as a win-win, such as Forbes' own Paul Tassi, who basically called Marek Tyminski and everybody who wanted this losers for, you know, having for wanting to have attractive women in your media, especially in video games, and having revealing outfits. Apparently you're a loser for that, which he got viciously destroyed in the comments. One of the biggest ones obviously being the Roach King himself, Asmongold, who tore him apart, and then I saw many other people tear him apart as well. Of course, he tried to, you know, play it off and tried to, like, you know, straw man it, and it didn't work. Well, that was one journalist trying to take a shot at Marek Tyminski, and that wasn't the only one. Enter Jade, king of the gamer. Now, if you've been following a lot of people in this certain sector of the YouTube community and the YouTube game community, then Jade King clearly needs no introduction. The gamer has basically written many hit pieces over the years that a lot of people have covered and basically ripped to shreds at this point. And judging by Jade King and their profile picture, they're clearly a part of the LGBTQIA plus up, down, left, right, BA star community. I mean, not that it matters, I'm just pointing that out because when we go through this article, clearly that mindset, that mentality, and that ideology is seeping right through, and they are not happy with Marek Tyminski not apologizing, basically. Oh, sorry. Marek Tyminski actually, you know, appealing to the fans, being players first. But we'll get right into it. Lords of the Fallen 2 is already cementing itself as a game for all of the wrong people. Okay then, this is by Jade King from thegamer.com, and by the way, I am using Web Archive because I refuse to give that site any traffic. Lords of the Fallen 2 publisher CI Games has made it blatantly obvious back in January that it will steer clear of making its games political or any social media elements or agendas in future titles. And it claims that featuring things such as running a high risk of pushing audiences away, and it would rather focus on serious games featuring serious stuff, like sexy, scantily clad women. Whether you want it, I guess, just make sure to wash your hands when you're done. I can smell just the coping. I can feel the coping here. I could feel the outrage. I could feel the sarcasm coming from that first paragraph. It is absolutely just delectable. This deliberately ignores the diverse and inclusive success like Baldur's Gate 3, which wanted to sell 20 million copies, and cherry picks high-profile cases like Concord just to justify the belief that inclusion of queer characters and unconventionally attractive women makes a title fail. I want to add some caveats to that statement, by the way. First off, Baldur's Gate 3 is a major success and beloved by players and critics worldwide. because it gives you the freedom of choice. You can literally run through the entire game and not experience any side content, any of the, say, queer characters or different types of side quests, different types of different characters. You can literally run that game straight through and not experience it one. That gives you that's the thing called freedom of choice, J King. Unless you understand that, that's why it became so beloved. And why does in comparison to Conqueror, where it really doesn't give you that much choice. The only choices is deliberately bad character designs where you're throwing every single checkbox in the book, including to the point where you have robots with pronouns. But I mean, that's not the only one. That's not the only high-profile failure. We can also cite Dragon Age Veilguard, which basically just rips the amount of rips any illusion of choice. It's right from under you and basically force you to, compare yourself with characters that are clearly unlikable and clearly made with that mindset and with that DEI mindset, or say, let's just say that identity politics mindset in mind. I don't like using DEI that much, or even woke at all. Let's just say identity politics, because you're all over that, aren't you? And also, let's not forget that we can also cite the fact that you within your kind of group, and I could cite Kotaku with having attractive female characters are a bad thing, but having swinging dick physics in Baldur's Gate 3, that is totally fine. Double standards. Gotta love it. Modern games are apparently such a terrible state, not because of greedy executives ballooning budgets and difficult to sustain development cycles, but because female characters aren't hard enough. They can be all of those things. They are not mutually exclusive, by the way. And there are many, many high-profile cases of that, too. This is a straw man, ladies and gentlemen. This is what you call a straw man. It's an existing argument that very small yet loud corners of the game development would cling with unwavering ignorance, and Lords of the Fallen 2 appears to be with it yet again, if recent comments from CI Games CEO Marek Tyminski are any indication. I wouldn't call a silent majority of a small yet loud corners of game development. It's kind of falling in that loud corner of the game developments, but allow corners of game development. Also, pot meat kettle, huh? Just saying. Don't worry, Lords of the Fallen 2 will have lots of sexy characters. They say that while gritting their teeth as they're typing this badly article. Hold down. I played the original Lords of the Fallen. Despite some of the gameplay and visual qualities and need for improvement and lack of polish the game had plenty to offer, it was a compelling Souls-like experience with some inventive ideas that I've never seen before, such as a lantern that you could shine around the environment to play with alternative realities in real time, not to mention a robust and weighty combat system. Improvement on these qualities would be more than enough for the sequel, but in his pursuit to remove progressive and politics and ideas from the game, Tyminski has only gone and made Lords of the Fallen 2 political all over again. How ironic. They're trying to get rid of that. Your side, or should I say, your ideology, is trying to make sure we don't get away from that at all. And there have been many, many cases of it. Just saying. Many of us asked why the game initially had body type A, body type B. Tyminski tweeted this past weekend. Hexworks stated New 2020 is an autonomous studio owned by CI Games. Early on, political correctness and filtering meant every decision reached to me. I got more involved late 2024. Now X has headed the studio along with alongside my CEO role. He went on to say body type A and body type B over male and female was the wrong decision, and that Lords of the Fallen 2 will be built on real player feedback, and it's crystal clear in the last two trailers. See, that has been a common thing here, because you can see that in, say, games from other regions don't use body type A and body type B, well, unless you use Japan, but they've basically been westernized at this point. But you can see why that, they don't want to use body type A and body type B instead of, going back to using traditional male and female characteristics or options, because, just saying, they don't have a problem with actually you know, actually saying, you know, having a biological male or a biological female as a character. Not everyone is a body type A or body type B. That's actually very insulting to your own base, by the way, too. Just saying. When asked by a user whether the game would include attractive female characters, in a short and sweet answer, yes, was given a response, which makes it embarrassingly clear that the audience of Lords of the Fallen 2 is trying to court. So appealing to your fan base. So just a simple response. That's what all it came from, was just a simple response of just saying yes, and apparently you're the wrong person. According to Paul Tasky, you're the loser. Just remember that. All he just said was a simple response of just saying yes. That's all it took. That's all it freaking took. Don't you just love it? Just absolutely love it, man. Within these posts, Tyminski seems to imply that the game perhaps included a more diverse or even realistic character creator, but anything allegedly woke or progressive was stripped out and replaced with a toolset where mostly restricts players to super buff male protagonists or gorgeous women for them to objectify. I mean, opposed to what? Having top surgery scars, having a breast and butt slider that, when going to the mass, is still flat as a table, having vitiligo sliders. I mean, it kind of sounds like they're trying to appeal to more of the South Korean kind of games where they have very detailed character creators, although they have a long way to go. But you know what? It's better than that. At least it's better than what we saw in the Veilguard, right? At least you're getting a freedom of choice. At least you're giving a lot more choice. Just saying. By claiming you're removing content, you're personally deeming it as political and from a piece of art and placing it with your own. You're creating a new agenda whether you want to accept it or not. That you're just, all it is just get rid of their agenda, though. Of your agenda. Of your mindset. Of this, everything needs to be diverse and inclusive. Everything needs to be a strong, you know, black woman character who basically doesn't need a man, or who can basically body any male character twice their size. Who doesn't need to be attractive. Who doesn't need to be, you know, hetero. See, here's the problem here, okay? I'm just gonna blatantly come and say this out. This is clear problem is that this game is too hetero. And they're not apologizing for it. So that's why Jade King is making this damn article. But that won't make a good game. It stinks of fake outrage, trying to desperately sell a 7 out of 10 Souls-like by playing up the idea that a modern gaming landscape has somehow robbed straight male audience of traditional experience they have the responsibility to take back. You're just proving my point. This article right here is just proving my point entirely. A similar thing occurred with Shift Up Stellar Blade, which was held up as a symbol of resistance in the modern culture. Oh no, sweetheart. You are not going to try to memory hold that shit with Stellar Blade, especially considering and I repeat, all of the articles and everything that all the entire gaming press was attacking Stellar Blade. Shall we not forget what happened with IGN? Such as, you know, a doll made by somebody who has never seen a real woman, despite the fact that Shift Up CEO Kim Hyun-tae, his wife, is actually on the art team, and half of Shift Up's team is made up of women? Can we also add on to the fact that apparently, you know, Eve's Design is making, making women want to game in themselves, want to harm themselves? That was the editor-in-chief of IGN France, by the way. I know you want to try to memory hold that. Let's not forget that you basically personally went into your, you know, own little thing regarding, you know, Stellar Blade, constantly making snide remarks about it and basically attacking it yourselves. Like I said, hypocrisy is just, it is just absolutely beautiful. It is just absolutely beautiful, and the fact that you're trying to turncoat and pretend that everybody was in support of Stellar Blade when clearly that was not the case and you guys are blatantly lying. So no, sweetheart, you're not gonna even try to pull that shit. You are not gonna try that. which was held up as a symbol of resistance to modern culture war. The game wasn't afraid to put an incredibly gorgeous heroine in front and center whose chest, butt, and overall figure existed as objects for players to obsess and customize. Guess what? There are video compilations of women who were very, very excited for Stellar Blade, who were very, very excited to customize Eve. And all of those lovely nanosuits, by the way. All 105 of them? I think it was 105. I can't remember. I got that many total suits. And that's not that's not limiting, and that's not even forgetting the mods, which basically rounds that number of nanosuits to infinity. And guess what? Women were completely all over it. Women like seeing attractive female characters as well. Just saying, Jade King. There was a belief amongst certain audiences that the video game critics and progressive games were looking to tear Stellar Blade down, which was true. Believing this stood against the DI agenda, which has slowly been infecting the entire medium with, which is that it was also true. But instead, it reviewed incredibly well and sold millions of copies. Now a sequel is in production because it was basically against everything you freaking stood for, everything that you tried to attack the game with. It did shift up, didn't apologize. Whew, this article is going long. Personally, I enjoyed Stellar Blade bullshit, and I thought even Eve was a fun to try the main character with lots of cool outfits to unlock. I'm gonna put a link to Jade King's review of Stellar Blade, by the way, and also I'm gonna put a link to Jade King's review, or should say faux review of Hogwarts Legacy, which them and also Stacey Henley the Gamer have basically refused to actually give Hogwarts Legacy a score because of their personal stance on J.K. Rowling. A stance that they have never been able to let go even after all these years. How'd that boycott turn out, by the way? And also, the culture war moved to a new target. To this day, the cycle continues. Lords of the Fallen is a special case. However, because the developers behind the sequel seem to believe that cultivating this move is going to make their game more successful, either that or they truly believe the nonsense they're spouting. Just like the nonsense that you're spouting when you're writing this article. This game is not about progressive politics or the agency of players with their regardless of gender or politics, but about fierce combat, uncompromisingly attractive female characters, and a world worth getting lost in. This sounds like you're promoting the game than trying to, you know, attack it. I feel like you're kind of selling me. It's not really working in your favor. The irony in that Tyminski's laughable pursuit of stripping Lords of the Fallen every single trace of diversity, he has turned the game into an object of political ridicule before it lands in our laps. It will be remembered that and nothing more. Ooh, I love that snide remark at the very end. Oh, that's gonna be funny because that's gonna backfire on you so bad right now. Oh man, there's a lot more support for this game, by the way, thanks to your article. So, congratulations, Jade King. You're cracking shit. You made such a terrible take that it just literally backfired on your ass. So much so that even Marek Tyminski himself responded. Now this comes from Marek Tyminski over on Twitter. This year we talk directly to you. That's right, you. To shape Lords of the Fallen 2. But according to the gamer, you're the wrong type of gamer. This article ignores everything we've shown in the last two trailers. Epic bosses, lightning fast challenging combat, seamless day one co-op, endless build variety and deep tactical options, a rich dark fantasy world, dual axiom umbral realms across 4 wildly distinct biomes, stunning high fidelity visuals and gory dismemberment executions, all player driven from 6 million players, 2+ million sales, and direct feedback, male and female body types plus attractive immersive armor. Sexy, it's called dark fantasy. And apparently, we're the wrong kind of people for wanting it. We're the wrong kind of people for supporting it. Well, if we're the wrong kind of people, then we don't even want to be right then. See, stuff like this is now making me want to support this game even more. Because they're not willing to apologize. they're not willing to kowtow. And this goes back to what I was saying at the start of this video. Never apologize for wanting to attract women in your media, especially in your video games, is now becoming more relevant. Because when you do, you're setting yourself up for long-term success. You're setting yourself up for a lot of support. Because you are not bending the knee, you are not buckling the system. You are setting your own path. And you're putting the players first. That's something you should never, ever apologize for. And I have multiple examples of that. Starblade being one. Look in the Gacha space. Brown Dust 2 being one. Blue Archive, Snowbreak. Everybody, people in the chat, I want everybody in this chat, I want you to cite other games that don't apologize for putting players first and for meeting players' demands and become successes. Versus what? Having to step on eggshells all the time? Having to be a part of this exclusive club where clearly you're not invited? Look at Expedition 33. Became the absolute industry darling. But because they used AI during their development that they immediately took out because they were just placeholders, they ain't getting it. They were disqualified from the Indie Game Awards, you know? Look at other games, man. When you kowtow to the industry itself, when you have to apologize for putting players first, it's not going to help your game. You're going to lose that spark. You're going to lose that soul. You're going to lose a lot of that creativity. You're going to lose so much of yourself, of what you put into this game, because you have to be on eggshells. You have to be fight tooth and nail. You can't allow to have this, that, or third. You can't allow to have an attractive female character. It's all got to be. You can't have both body types. You can't have true diversity, true inclusivity, because the industry itself is not diverse and inclusive. It's very exclusive. Only certain things are allowed. Only certain things are the standard. Only certain things are the norm. Anything that buckles that system, they just get outraged. They tell people to stay in line. You're not true diverse. This industry is not diverse and inclusive, and I can tell that straight up. A lot of people can see that straight up as well. A lot more people are waking up to that too, by the way. This is what happens when you don't apologize. This is what happens when you don't apologize for wanting attractive women in your media, especially in video games. This is what you have when you don't apologize for wanting true diversity. For saying that if you're going to have this kind of body type, this kind of facial type, then this other facial type can be had. This other body type is allowed. Pretty is allowed. Titty is allowed. Femininity is allowed. They ain't apologized for that. Look at Marvel Rivals. One of the biggest multiplayer hero shooters right now. An incredible diverse range of characters. But heroes being who they are. Villains being who they are. Aspirational. Something to look up to. Reflecting their comic book counterparts down to a detail. Exaggerated, of course. But it builds their mythos. But it strengthens their character, their mythos as well. They ain't gotta apologize for it. NetEase ain't gotta apologize for that. Look at the Eastern titles that come out that seem to dominate the charts. They ain't gotta apologize for that. All we see is happening in the West. A lot that we're seeing in this ideology is happening in the West now. And it's a shame when you're looking at countries like Japan who are trying to be more and more Western, when people appreciate Japan for being Japan. We appreciate the East for being the East. We appreciate these developers for being them, for staying true to their guns, for sticking to their guns, for sticking to their vision, for not bending the knee, for not changing their essence, for not changing what they originally set out to do just to appease one demographic, just to appease the industry. And we're seeing more and more of that, by the way. More and more than you realize. There's definitely a pendulum swing going on right now. And it's going to swing over to the other side. And it will swing to the extreme end on the other side. We've seen many cases of that too. And you have to be very, very careful of that. But if anything, I'm more and more happy to see that my quote that I've been saying since I've defended Stellar Blade all the way back in early 2024 is holding more relevant today. They don't like that. They do not like that at all. Anyway, that's my thoughts. What are yours? Let me know in the comment section down below. Of course, smack that like button, make it jiggle. Smack the subscribe button, make it jiggle. Message nigga to all my channel members, of course. Join the channel for $1 a month. Get access to exclusive art drops that I don't even apologize for. Art that I don't even apologize for. Every 2 months for my channel members. Thank you to everybody who's been supporting me. Thank you to everybody who's been who tuned in to the last commentary video, and thank you for showing your support as of late. I really appreciate that, and I hope to continue making more commentary videos like this, making more videos here on Peak Gaming on the main Machiny Draws channel, making more art videos as well going into 2026. And to Marek Tyminski, if you by any chance come across this video, I just want to say thank you for not apologizing. And I thank you for watching. I'm Machiny 90 Arts German Illustrator, and I'll see y'all next time for another video. So until then, stay cute, stay sexy, have fun, take care, much love, never apologize for wanting attractive women in your media, especially in video games, because now that is more relevant than ever. And they don't like that, huh? They don't like that now, do they? And above all else, never stop drawing.
Please show your thoughts in the comment section down below. Press the like button and press the subscribe button if you wish to see more content from Machiny, and join us every Saturday night at 6 p.m. as we venture into the world of Peak Gaming. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, game over.